Hey class, it's Mr. Dow, your instructor here at the English 101 online class. I want to take a couple of minutes and just kind of take you through the navigation of this course in case you have any questions at all. If you're watching this video, we can assume that you have found the class and you are here. Just a couple of things I wanted to point out to you. I am looking at an instructor view right now. I can tell that. So I'd like to look at it from a student's perspective, kind of see what you're seeing. So let's move to student view here. Let's take just a second. And in the student view, I guess this is what I wanted to point out. Yeah, right now there should only be 4 weeks of the course set up. I will set up the rest of the course as we move through the semester. But really, as you go through the class, you're really just going from the beginning to the end here on this list of assignments. Let's move over here to this side, the column where it has these different options for you. There were possible like 30 or 40 things I could put here. I got rid of everything except the most simple stuff. You can check your grades. You can do that anytime you want. You can and should and really have to read the syllabus. That should probably be the first thing you do in this class because our first assignment is a quiz, which is completely based on the syllabus. The reason I do that is because I would say half of all the problems students have in this class is that they don't really understand the requirements of the class as explained pretty clearly in the syllabus. So the sooner you kind of understand what the requirements are, the faster we can move and the easier things are. You've got a modules button here, but really the modules are this. Each week is one module. Each grouping of assignments or readings is a module. So that's actually kind of redundant. Every time you hit the home button, you're going to come here to the list of modules that I've set up. And a link to the library. And that's really all I think that you need on that side of the page. The only thing I really want to point out that I think is important is that when you get to each week, when you get to ready to start doing the assignments, do not look at this list and assume that, oh, that's what I have to do. What you want to do every week is to go right here where it says what to do and think about this week. That would be the first thing on every single module. And that list, that's really the comprehensive list. I say that because sometimes there are things on this page, what to do and think about this week, which are not then on the modules anywhere else. So you want to go through it when you say, what do I have to do this week? It's the list here. Here's 5 things you have to do. All right, first thing you have to do is watch this video, what you're doing, right? Let's take a look at that. The next thing you have to do is take the quiz. Right now it's locked at the time I'm doing this. Take that quiz. You have a chance to take it, I think, 3 times, and I'll call it a score. There's a diagnostic test you're going to have to take, pretty short, but it just gives me a starting point of where you are in the semester. There's going to be an exercise using Focus 2. That exercise will require you to, actually, you know what, let me leave the student view, and that way I can show you a little bit more about that. Anytime you get to an exercise, you're going to come across these instructions, and you're going to say, all right, once you finish reading the instructions and you are ready to submit, you're looking at the instructor's view. In the student view, there'll be a submission button right here. You click it, you get an empty box down here. You put your answer in there and hit submit, and then I will get the answer. It comes to me, to nobody else. What other types of assignments do we have? Okay, so exercises are always like that. And you can, by the way, you can tell what an exercise is like because it'll have this little pencil next to it, pencil and paper here. Discussion is right here. They have this little double dialogue boxes. And a discussion, it's not an exercise. In a discussion, you're posting to the entire class. Everybody in the class will be able to read what you're supposed to do. This is the first discussion we're doing. I responded to it myself. I do that with some of the discussions. Basically, that's it, though, in this class. I've tried to make it, I've really worked hard to make this as absolutely simple as possible because there are enough difficulties with taking an online class that you don't need to be confused about what the order of assignments are. So to keep up in this course and do well, what you want to do is basically stick to a schedule. Each week is laid out. Each week, if you want to know what do I have to do that week, go to the first page and look at that list. That is the list of everything that needs to be due that week. One thing I make a big deal of on the syllabus, I'll just say right now, because I think it's worth saying more than once, is that this is a class where a lot of the assignments are assignments that you have to do until you get them right. So if there's a 4-step process to writing a paper and you're stuck on step 2 and it isn't really that good, maybe it's the outline of the paper, I don't let you move on. I make you revise the outline until we have a workable outline that we both agree can actually become a paper, and then you move on to the next step. Because of that, some assignments are going to take longer than you might want them to take, and that's why my recommendation is start early in the week and never, ever skip a week. I'd say most of the problems anybody has with a class like this is because they can't work to a schedule or they fall behind pretty quickly. And it's really, really hard to catch up in a class like this if you have to do certain assignments multiple times and wait for me to okay them. I respond pretty quickly, but I only have so much work I can do. So keep that in mind. All right, so that's basically the navigation of the course. Like I say, the main thing to do for this week is get to the syllabus, check over the syllabus, check out my information, how the class works. Here's all my advice on how to do well in this class, stuff about the grading, the textbooks, et cetera, et cetera. If you have questions about anything, you definitely want to let me know, and I'll respond pretty quickly. Generally within 24 hours, you'll get a response from me. All right, that's about it. I think, like I said, I don't have to take long in this video because I think it's pretty simple. So if you do have questions, let me know. Otherwise, welcome to the class. We'll get to work.